Yes, we're all here, but we're so glad that you're here inside the press box as we fire up a brand new day, a Tuesday, the 15th of July, 2025, episode 1167. Mike Grace coming to you from the MGL production studios just outside of Atlanta, Georgia, which is a pretty hot place to be these days. You got the home run derby last night, all-star game tonight. Beyonce was in town over the weekend. Oh, yeah, that little thing called SEC Football Media Days going on as well. And that's a big topic here because yours truly, an old play-by-play guy. And so I met a bunch of my greatest friends in press boxes all across the country. We'll invite a bunch of them with us for the next couple of hours and talk about SEC Football Media Days and anything else that comes up. I do have my regular guys. One of our regulars is out. Jason Powers, the director of officiating for the NFL Flag Leagues, is prepping for their championship week. He's up in Canton, Ohio, where Thursday through Sunday they'll have their championships there at Hall of Fame Village. It's kids ages 8 through high school ages, and they got a ton of them up there. And our man Jason has his hands full, so we give him the week off. My other regular Tuesday and Thursday co-host serves Learfield as the Florida Gator Sports Network studio host. He is Mike Mote. Mr. Mote, SEC Football Media Days. We've been waiting. Finally here, man.
Yeah, it is. We're right in the middle of it. I thought yesterday was kind of what we expected from, Greg Sankey, who gave the State of the Union address, I guess, if you will, for college football in the SEC. And wasn't surprised by a whole lot about what he said. I mean, he's not going to say that we've reached a deal with this or that. But I do think you come away going, okay, they're still talking. They're still trying to figure out a few things. But, football lives on. I think he did say that one of the things that I took away from it was, college athletics is not broken, but it's under some stress right now.
Yes, it is.
I think that's a very diplomatic statement. I think there's some people think that might go one way a little more than the other, but I truly thought that what he said was not anything I wasn't surprised to hear what he had to say. I just put it that way. And I thought the coaches said, what they normally say and all that stuff. So yeah, we're well underway, and we get a little bit more of it today, and on we go. But yeah, this is a fun week for sure. And Atlanta, my Lord, if you didn't find something to do in Metro Atlanta this weekend, something's wrong with you. Goodness,
indeed, sir. No doubt about that. Well,
so
I've got
much
Mike Mote with me today and pulling overtime this week. One of my regular Monday, Wednesday, Friday guys. He works the NFL, college basketball, college football, and more for Westwood One, Compass Media, even the Braves for FanDuel during the summertime. He is Colin Lacy, who comes to us today from inside the College Football Hall of Fame, back on Digital Drive for day 2 of SEC Football Media Days, joined by Coach Brent Osborne, a decade of high school football coaching under his belt. He's Colin's on-air partner with the Foundry Broadcasting in Statesboro, their broadcast of Southeast Bullock High School. So, fellas, SEC Media Days, first for both of you guys. I know, Colin, you've been to a bunch of Sun Belt Conference Media Days. How does the SEC match up?
My buddy down listening in Mobile at JT Crabtree with South Alabama is going to laugh when I say this. It's not quite the same, boys. It's a little different than Sun Belt Conference Media Days, but it's you've heard people talk about it day in and day out of just a first-class event put on by the SEC. You've got 2 different locations. You've got the College Football Hall of Fame here, and then across the street there's actually a sky bridge that connects the Omni Hotel that's across the street that's got a lot of the ESPN setups, the electronic media setups, but we are on the second level of the College Football Hall of Fame, and anybody that's been to the Hall of Fame, it's kind of the exhibits where you go around in like a horseshoe, and then the main media is on the turf field down on the first floor, and you've got windows that overlook it, and so really cool setup, really well done by the SEC, and it's been fun the first day, and we got 3 more of these bad boys.
Yes, indeed, we do. Brent, your thoughts on day number 1, man?
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun. Definitely an experience that never gotten to experience before since I've never been to any media days. So I feel like I'm getting a nice warm welcome to how they should all be. But the food's really good. I like to eat, so the media dining has been really good as well, and good to see a bunch of people that you get to see on TV and listen to on the radio, and have some good, genuine conversations about stuff and about college football as a whole.
Yeah, you like the good sponsors for the food. That's why you get the good food at the media.
I was just about to comment that if they're thirsty, it's not a problem. I see one of the official partners of the SEC, Dr. Pepper's to go here. He said, "How many Dr. Pepper cans have you got on your table there, man?"
Boys, I feel like Forrest Gump in the sense that I feel like
Yeah,
I've drank 15 Dr. Peppers.
I mean, Mike,
Now,
Colin,
what
we
is your
walked in.
flavor, Colin? What is your big
Oh,
flavor?
I'm the OG Dr. Pepper. I saw they've got like 15 different flavors of
Yeah.
Dr. Pepper, which is a little overkill if you
Cherry,
ask
they
me.
yeah,
got
yeah. It's already 23 flavors mixed in, isn't it, or
Right.
something like that?
You don't need
23.
any
Yeah,
more.
Yeah.
I suggest in order to help your sugar levels to maybe consume one or two zero sugar ones. Those are
Nah,
good.
that's overrated, Mote.
Yeah.
No,
Think
it's
so?
not. If you're diabetic, it's not. I can tell you. You still want Dr. Pepper, you'll drink it.
That's what we couldn't even walk by the dining room on our way in this morning at 6:30 or 7 o'clock, and I saw Colin just go grab 2 or 3 and put in his
Well, you
pocket.
want to make sure he had enough. Yeah.
Yeah, Brent's
I don't blame
the responsible one. He got the fancy water bottle,
you.
but
Oh.
yeah, I had to grab a couple of fully leaded Dr. Peppers.
Well, early in the morning, you need some
Exactly.
caffeine to get rolling. I understand that. For
Absolutely.
Sure. It'll be a long day today.
It is today. Well, yesterday, day one, saw the commissioner take the stage and gave the state of the conference address. And as you said, Mike Mote, he said college athletics not broken, but it is stressed. And he talked about that a good bit. And then we talked to the actual coaches and players, LSU head coach Brian Kelly, South Carolina head coach Shane Beamer, Ole Miss head coach Lane Kiffin, and Vanderbilt head coach Clark Lee, and of course their players that were there as well. And today, Auburn will lead things off. Head coach Hugh Freeze. He's going to have a few questions, I would think, for him heading into is it season number 4 or 3? Three
Yep.
for Hugh Freeze. So we'll see what he has to say today. Also, Georgia head coach Kirby Smart and the Bulldogs will be there. Tennessee's Josh Heupel and Texas and Steve Sarkisian. Most folks' favorites, I guess, along with Georgia as the favorites to win the SEC championship and perhaps a national championship as well. And we'll see who's floating around Media Row or Digital Drive. Mike Mote, I'm still trying to get used to that. It's
Yeah, I
been
could have called it Media Row. She didn't have to change it to from Radio Row. That kind of, makes us sad a little bit for those of us who were there
yeah.
so many years when it was Radio Row, but it is now Digital Drive because
Yeah.
there's so many podcasts and streaming this and that. And that's I mean that is, I guess more appropriately named, but yeah, we missed the Radio Row name. I don't know, did they do that with the Super Bowl this year? I mean, did they change it with Super Bowl? Was it still Radio Row there for that week?
I want to say it was still Radio Row.
Okay, yeah.
At least I heard people still calling it Radio Row, but heck, I've still been calling this Radio Row, and it's not. So
yeah, but you do see a lot of people, and I think there are more people there for SEC Media Days than probably a lot of the media days combined. I mean, even with the Big Ten going to Vegas this year, do you really think anybody wants to go out there where it's 109 during the day?
And I was seeing the Big 12 had media day. I think it was inside the Star in Dallas, and they had essentially the big stage down on the field, and then they just had probably 5 to 10 tables set up on the back of the field, back in the opposite end zone, and that's where with their quote unquote Radio Row Digital Drive, what in the heck you want to call it, was, and there was a media member there. I can't remember who it was, and I wish I could, but there was a media member there that was talking about how Deion Sanders had stood up all of his commitments on Radio Row and didn't come to any of them, and he was showing the background. I'm like, that's Radio Row. Like you've got half the field that's set up for the main press area, the main stage where the coaches talk and whatnot, and then it's just a couple of tables, and they weren't all full, and so it's weird. And the impressive part about the SEC, and I'm sure it'll taper off as we go because the first 2 days are kind of the ones that a lot of folks are coming for, especially today with the Auburn, the Georgia that are close by, and a lot more media can get to it.
Sure.
But this is a 4-day thing, and this is going to be slammed all 4 days. You get the Big 12, the ACC go over 2 days, and you've got so many teams that you've got to go through in one day, and it's still not full. Yet this is full over 4 days.
We also had a ton of fans here getting autographs.
Yeah, that's the
Lobby
thing.
was full.
That's the thing I'll be interested to see. I was listening to our buddy Chris Gordy in Locked On SEC podcast that he was doing with the rest of the Locked On folks around the league, and everybody was talking about the fanfare that Arch Manning is probably going to get when he walks into.
I would think so. Yeah.
And they've got a great setup, and Mike, you know how I love to people watch.
Oh yeah.
So they've got a nice little perch here on the front of Digital Drive, out where Pat Smith and Landon Roberts are with jocks, and it kind of overlooks where the walkway coming in, where all the fans come for autographs and whatnot.
Right,
So
right.
I'm going to be posted up right there whenever Arch Manning and the Texas Longhorns come into the building, just to see what the fanfare. Because Gordy said that it was going to be probably close to a Tim Tebow or something like that. Whenever
At least. Oh yeah, yeah. I would think so. It may not rival Nick Saban at the Winfrey Hotel in Hoover that we had for a number of years, but it might be second to that. I'm telling you. The day will start at 8:30 Eastern Time. John McCade, the SEC's coordinator of football officials, will address the main room, and then the teams get going at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Auburn will take the podium first and make their rotation. Hugh Freeze and company, Georgia, I should say, Kirby Smart will follow that as well. Then the lunch break, and then they're back at 1:30 this afternoon for Tennessee's Josh Heupel and Texas's Steve Sarkisian. Before we kind of talk about what we expect to hear today, how about some highlights from yesterday? I've got some audio, including some from head coach Brian Kelly of the LSU Fighting Tigers. He's again addressed the media yesterday, talking about what they need to win a national championship, and it's on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, I think we've got an outstanding defensive coordinator and a defensive staff. Blake Baker is in my opinion, elite in the field of defensive coordinators. We needed to give him some more tools. And look, I've been the head football coach at LSU, and I know that we have not played the kind of defense necessary to win a national championship. I think we put a roster together in this offseason, along with young players that have taken lumps along the way as they've developed, and given Blake now the tools to play championship level defense, because clearly the 2023 offensive football team we had was good enough to win a national championship. We weren't good enough as a team. And a lot of that had to do with addressing some shortcomings we had on defense. We think we've done that. I love our roster. I love our team and the way they interact, the camaraderie of our group, the seriousness and focus, their intent. So I think we're going to have a defense that is going to be representative. And look, anytime you go on the road and play a team like Clemson, you better bring a defense with you.
That, of course, is the LSU opener coming up on August the 30th, not at a neutral site. That is actually at Clemson. So it will certainly be a test for Brian Kelly and the Tigers. And he talked about that defense last year, allowed 28 points per game, guys. In SEC play, it was 33 points per game. You're not going to win a national championship with those kind of numbers on the defensive side of the ball, Mr. Mote.
No, you're not. And I think one of the keys to LSU's season is how they start. If you go back over the last couple of years, they just, never got off of the schneid. When they played, Florida State, they were outmanned. Physicality at the line of scrimmage, LSU was beaten soundly, and I was surprised by that. I mean, I knew Florida State was good, but not that good. And then last year, a game that I really thought got away from LSU. They should have beat USC. That was not a very good USC team, as it turned out, but they should have won that game. So I think, the first game of the year, you hate to put that much pressure on the first game, but I think it sets the tone for what happens the rest of the way for LSU. They need to go in there and win that football game. All there is to it. They need to win it.
Two thoughts, Colin, is that with the new playoff situation, the expanded format, 12 teams getting in, a loss in that game would not eliminate LSU from national championship contention. But Brian Kelly's 0-3 in series openers while the LSU head coach. He does not want to see that streak run to 0-4, man.
No, and he brought that up yesterday in his media availability up on the main stage. He's like, look, I know what I am. I know what it is, but I also know that I think I have the best team that I've ever had, not just at LSU, but in his entire coaching career. And there's a lot of talent on this team. There's a lot of people talking about LSU, so I think that makes that game that much more important, not just for the lore of Brian Kelly, but I think also you have so many people that are high on LSU right now. I think if you lose that game, while it doesn't mean the detriment to your season, it's also something that can knock you down a peg. And not that that really means a whole heck of a lot at the end of August, but you get less and less people talking about it, and it's more of, okay, here we go again with LSU. I think they're going to turn that into, I don't want to say a statement game at the end of August because that sounds absolutely absurd, but I think that's one that can really set the tone for the season and be able to propel them going forward.
I think it means as much to Clemson, though, as it does LSU, because I think it's an it's a huge game for the ACC. The ACC's got a huge week one. If you go you're looking at some of their matchups across the board, but I think Clemson is a team, and it's to me they're very similar. You got a lot of experience at the quarterback position. You've got really good defenses, potentially. I think both of these teams need this game, and I think maybe Clemson thinks that hey, if we win this one, we might can afford to lose one down the road and still be in the ACC conversation because you're not going to get as many bids to the playoffs from the ACC as you're going to from LSU, or I mean from the SEC. So I think this is equally as big of a game for Clemson, if not maybe a little more so, because it's at home, number one. But number two, I think you just don't have as many opportunities if you're Clemson to get big game wins like that.
And I think that's what was interesting to me was yesterday when Brian Kelly was talking about that on the main media stage, and he addressed the, being 0-3 in the season starters for him since he's been there. That what I liked was that he talked about that they're not shying away from the importance of that season opener and how big of a game it is. He said they're actually kind of relishing it being a big game and it being an important game, not just because it's the next game or the first game, but also because they are playing a really, really good opponent to start the season, and the fact that they are 0-3 in the last 3 seasons to start the season. So he was very, very much on point with emphasizing not shying away from the pressure of it being a big and important game.
For what it's worth, our friend Phil Steele in his 2025 College Football Preview Magazine, looking at his 2025 preseason top 40, he's got LSU ranked 11th, Clemson ranked 2nd, and he's got Clemson as one of his favorites to win the national title in 2025. Good old Dabo. And, of course, Brian Kelly mentioned this yesterday. I should have had the clip of this. Did you hear him talking about his good friend Dabo?
Dabo.
That's what
we thought we heard. We thought we heard him correctly.
Wasn't that what I heard? Dabo?
that was one. He said it, and it took about a beat and a half. And then I looked at Brent. We were standing in the back, and I said, "Dabo."
Yeah, that's what he said.
I
That's
was like,
right.
I can tell.
Good old Dabo.
Wrong.
I never knew that Clemson had a coach named Dabo.
Yeah, it's a new one on me.
It's always been Dabo. As
I
far as
I always thought it was Dabo, but it's just me. I
It's a
could be
bad
wrong.
look when you.
maybe his close friends call him Dabo. Maybe
That's what I'm saying. I was
That's
going to
what it
say
is.
maybe it's a bad look though when you say a close friend and you mispronounce his name.
I don't know what's his name. He's a good friend of mine.
Well, look, we talked about this, and I've a broken record on this. So year 3 was always the big year for Brian Kelly at his previous stops. He won a conference championship at both Central Michigan, I think it was, and Cincinnati in year 3. He took Notre Dame to the BCS title game in year 3 with the Irish. But year 3 came and went, a 9-4 record, which was a bit of a disappointment. And year 4, maybe it's the year, huh?
Maybe more talent this year than he's ever had in any of his other places where he took them to the playoffs and championship game. I mean, he's got the tools. There really shouldn't be any excuses this year. That's what I think. And if you're going to do it, this is your year. You got a good quarterback. You've got good receivers. You got a lot of stuff there. See if he can do it.
Well, we're just getting rolling with this edition of the Press Box on SEC Media Day, Day 2. Colin Lacy, Brent Osborne on site of the College Football Hall of Fame. Mike Mote in his studios on the other side of the Atlanta Metro, Douglasville, Georgia. Yours truly, Mike Grace, closer to Swanee, up on the northeast side of the Atlanta Metro. Glad to have you with us on great stations around the southeast, online 24/7, PressBoxRadio.com, and yes, streaming again on the Mike Grace Live Facebook page. Be very afraid. Video there, courtesy of our friend Colin Lacy. And again, Mike Grace Live on Facebook. When we come back, we're going to hear how much Ole Miss, so how much Lane Kiffin loves Ole Miss and Oxford. We'll hear Vandy quarterback Diego Pavia say he wants a championship. And we'll talk about the Auburn Tigers. They're first up today on SEC Media Days. We'll talk about them next in the Press Box.